It is Tuesday, January 28th. Welcome to HH Dow High School for Saginaw Valley League basketball as the HH Dow High Chargers play host to the Midland High School Chemics. Alongside Tom Bell, I'm Jason Harper, and Tom, tonight we have got a battle of two teams that come into tonight's game with only one loss each. A very competitive matchup between the Chemics and the Chargers about to get underway.
And this should be a well-balanced game. We've got a lot of freshmen, a lot of seasoned seniors. Let's sit back and kind of watch to see what kind of develops.
Absolutely. The Midland High Chemics coming into this game ranked number 5 in the state. This is a team coached by Elaine Mahabier that's got a ton of talent, led by Jessica Walter, who's their team leader and a future Hoosier. We will talk about her in detail throughout this contest. The Dow High Chargers under veteran coach Bob Wellman. The Chargers come into this game a relatively young team. This is a Dow High Charger team. Some freshmen, some players playing in their first Midland Dow matchup, but this is a team that has been anticipating this game since the beginning of the season. It is the Chemics and the Chargers, Saginaw Valley League girls basketball coming your way here on MPS-TV. And right now we are going to turn things over to our public address announcer for the national anthem and the starting lineups.
Once again, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to HH Dow High School. Before we meet this evening's starting lineups, we'd ask you all to please rise. Gentlemen, remove your hats and join Dow High Junior Abby Stokes in the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, sing, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and to its the bombs bursting gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Great job, Abby. Once again, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to HH Dow High School for tonight's contest between the Lady Chemics of Midland High and your home team, the Dow High Lady Chargers. On behalf of Dow High Principal Stan Castle, we'd like to welcome you to the Saginaw Valley League girls varsity basketball matchup. We'd like to remind you to support both teams in a positive manner. Always display good sportsmanship. Remember, without sportsmanship, there is no game. And now, for this evening's starting lineups. First for the visiting Lady Chemics of Midland High. Number 12, a freshman, Sadie Moreau. Also for the Lady Chemics, number 14, a freshman, Alex Van Hoover. For the Lady Chemics, a senior, number 22, Jeff Walker. For the Lady Chemics, number 42, a freshman, Jake Williams. Rounding out the Lady Chemics lineup this evening, a senior, number 50, Emily Westman. The Lady Chemics are coached by Elaine Mahabier. And now on your feet, let's meet your Lady Chargers. And a guard of 5'8" freshman number 10, Ellie And a guard of 5'5" junior number 20, Emily Lyman. And a guard of 5'8" junior number 34, Carly McGee. At center, a 6'2" senior, number 44, Erin O'Neill. Rounding out the Chargers lineup of 4 5'10" junior, number 52, Shanna Prairie. Lady Chargers are coached by Mr. Bob Wellman, assisted by Sarah Pavlacek. Tonight's game officials, Steve Johnson, Jenna Schroeder, and James Blankley. Official scorekeeper this evening, Mr.
The starting lineups, and we are set to go. High school basketball here on MPS-TV. The Midland High Chemics and the Dow High Chargers, game number 1 of our city doubleheader here on MPS-TV. Jason Harper, Tom Bell, and entire crew of MCTV volunteers on hand to bring you this contest. The Chargers and the Chemics, both teams coming in with only 1 loss. Midland High at 9-1. The Dow High Chargers at 12-1. Dow with a couple more games under their belt. Chemics have had a couple of games that have been postponed due to the Arctic weather that we are experiencing this winter. And we are off and running, Tom, with high school basketball.
And right now we've got Dow with the ball. Dow has a little more size than Midland High. See if they can take advantage of that.
Emily Lyman trying to work the baseline, could not get the shot going. Now Jeff Walter will have the ball for the Midland High Chemics. Walter, a 4-year starter for Midland High, and Walter splitting apart the defense. Walter with the first basket of the game for the Chemics. Dow High with Emily Lyman working the ball at the guard position. Lyman is a junior. This is a young Dow High team, but a nice pass underneath. Jenna Query able to put the basket in. Query with the first bucket for the Chargers. Dow High showing a bit of a press, and it works. Carly McGee coming up with the steal. Working over to Ellie Taylor. Taylor's just a freshman. Now to McGee. McGee dribbles towards the baseline. Nice bounce pass and another pass to Taylor, and her shot goes in. Dow High taking their first lead of the game. Ellie Taylor, just a freshman, a lot of basketball in her blood. In fact, I think Taylor was shooting baskets before she could sit up in the crib.
You're probably right on that one. At least she knew what the sound of a bouncing basketball was.
Three-pointer. The shot is no good by Van Sumeren, another freshman out on the court. A lot of players playing in their first Midland Dow varsity game. Everybody battling for the ball, and Midland High wrestling it among each other, and traveling is going to be a call. 2 Chemics had a hold of the basketball, but they didn't know it. Now, very interesting, Tom, the fact that we've got so many freshmen and sophomores playing. That's going to be something to watch for, is the nerves as you're playing in your first Midland Dow matchup.
Well, when you got, first of all, you got a crowd here that they are not used to playing in front of.
Walter, she's got a lot of Midland Dow experience under her belt. Works it over to Sadie DeWilt. DeWilt works it to Jaden Williams, a freshman that has played very well, and the first foul of the game will be called against the Chargers. Jaden Williams, she's a center and relatively small as far as centers go at only 5'5", but she's very fast and very aggressive.
Yeah, she gets up and down the court extremely fast.
Wide open is DeWilt. Long 2-point shot is no good. Battle for the rebound on the floor. Midland High will come away with it. Nice drive to the bucket by Williams, and the freshman will go to the line. That's that aggressiveness we were just talking about. Not afraid to lower her shoulder and go up for the layup.
And cat quick, just very fast.
So Jaden Williams shooting the first free throws in this contest. We are early in this Midland Dow battle, and the first free throw no good. Both of these teams with 1 loss. Midland High lost to Flint Powers early in the season. Dow High lost to Saginaw Heritage. Williams hitting 1 of 2 from the free throw line. 1-point game. Dow High with the early lead. Chargers in their home white uniform. Ellie Taylor at the top of the perimeter, now working over to McGee. McGee tries to go inside, bounces it back out to Lyman. Lyman is a junior. In fact, there are only 2 seniors on this Dow High Charger team. O'Neal tried to go off the board, couldn't get the shot to go, but the Chargers able to recover. Taylor dribbling, being guarded closely by Walter. Walter nearly coming up with a steal. Taylor now works it out to McGee for a 3-pointer. Shot is no good. Nice rebound by Wasco, but she could not get the shot to go. Dow High coming up with a steal. Taylor outlet to McGee again. That shot is no good. Rebound by Resmer, and a foul will be called that goes against the Dow High Chargers.
Dow seems to be about a step faster than Midland in the early stages of this game, and I think that's made Dow's press quite effective when they put it on just a few minutes ago.
Just 3 minutes into the game, Dow High leading by a point. Chemics thought about taking the shot on the far side. Now they work it around over to DeWilt. DeWilt works it back to Walter. Walter over to Van Sumeren, who launches a 3-pointer. Shot is no good. Rebound by Wasco. Another freshman, 2 freshmen on the floor for the Chargers. McGee works the baseline, count the bucket. Carly McGee's a junior, getting the shot to go down to give the Chargers a 3-point lead, and the press results in another steal for the Chargers. Taylor, 3-pointer, count it. Ellie Taylor with her second basket, and Elaine Mahabier will call the first timeout of the game with 4:20 to play here in the first quarter. A 30-second timeout by Midland High with the Chargers leading by 6. You take a look at Elaine Mahabier talking to the Midland High Chemics, and one thing that we need to point out about the Midland High Chemics is that they are playing without Lily Hami tonight. Hami playing incredibly well early in the season, has a history of playing well against the Dow High Chargers, but Hami is out with a leg injury that was suffered around Christmas time, so she is not playing for the Chemics.
And with Hami out, it gives Dow a real focus on who to put pressure on. That would be Walter, and these freshmen have got to step up and hit some shots.
Tried to go inside on a bounce pass, but the Chargers had it covered. Dow High will bring Jenna Query back into the game. Query's a junior, but she's a player with a lot of experience. And we've got a foul that's going to be called before the inbound that will go against the Midland High Chemics. Maybe a little over-aggressive that time around.
Williams was trying to create some space and pushed off.
Halfway through the first quarter, Chargers leading by 6. Lyman working over to Taylor, who's got 5 points already for the Chargers. Now to McGee. McGee taking the screen that was set nicely by Query. Now Query tried to get loose underneath, but Williams able to come up with the steal for the Chemics.
This is an important possession. The Chemics called a timeout. They want to get themselves settled, to work the ball around. They've got the ball to their senior leader, Jessica Walter, just looking for the high percentage shot.
Walter thought about taking the shot, now goes back out to DeWilt. Over to Van Sumeren. Couple of freshmen working the perimeter along with the veteran Walters.
We're starting to see what Bob Wellman called his biggest strength is his team defense.
Williams, long 2-pointer, no good. Rebound is going to be kept into play by the Chargers. Nice hustle by McGee, and Dow High will try to take advantage. 3-pointer by Lyman, shot is no good. Rebound by DeWilt. Chemics coming back the other way. Van Sumeren working the baseline, and a double dribble will be called. Resmer did a nice, Wasco did a nice job hustling back on defense for the Chargers.
Yeah, Bob Wellman has talked about his defense. They only give up about 35 points a game, and that's really one of their strengths in the early stages of the game.
And Dow playing good defense here in the first quarter. 9-3 Chargers. 2:40 to play here in the opening quarter, and coming up with a steal, give credit there to DeWilt, knocking the ball away from the Dow High Chargers. DeWilt pulling up for a jump shot, too short. Williams looks to outlet it, but it goes into the hands of a Charger instead, Lexi Miller, who just checked into the game. Taylor passing it over to Flaminio, who just checked in, and we've got a foul that is called.
Yeah, and Van Sumeren.
So the Midland High Chemics committing the foul. Van Sumeren with her first foul. Dow High will bring Emily Lyman back into the game, giving Taylor her first rest of the night. Nobody to outlet to. Midland High playing tough defense, and Bob Wellman will have to call a timeout. The Chemics preventing the inbound pass nicely, so each team using a timeout here in the first quarter, but it's the Chargers maintaining a 6-point lead.
You know, we talked about all of the freshmen that are playing in this game so far, and really the only one that's looked comfortable has been Ellie Taylor. She's hit, I think she's 2 for 3 or 2 for 4 from the field, and the other girls are very talented, but they just don't look real comfortable yet.
It has definitely been, both of these teams are young. They've got a lot of experience, a lot of AAU basketball, and a lot of the Midland fast break basketball. But playing in a high school varsity game in front of a full crowd, sometimes it takes a while to calm those nerves down.
Yeah, you stop thinking about the crowd and think about the game, you'll do a lot better.
Lexi Miller with the ball, now works it over to Query. Query on the baseline, and a pass trying to find Miller on the opposite baseline, but instead throws it into the Chemics student section for a turnover. Just over 2 minutes to play here in the first quarter. Both of these teams have kind of hit a scoring drought. Sadie DeWilt working over to Van Sumeren, back to DeWilt. DeWilt being double teamed, now finds Walter. Williams into the paint. Nice job there by Jaden Williams, getting the bucket to fall through to break the scoring drought and pull the Chemics within 4. 1:40 to play, and the Dow High Chargers trying to work onto the baseline, and going to the free throw line will be Alex Laminio.
At the line should be 2 for Dow, Lexi Laminio.
1:41 to play here in the first quarter. Flaminio is a sophomore, and she's able to get the first bucket to fall through. Aaron O'Neill will check back in for Dow.
So far, we've seen a lot more substitutions for Dow than we have with Midland.
Flaminio able to get both of her free throws to fall through. Back to a 6-point Dow advantage, and the Chargers with a little bit of a press again on the Midland High Chemics. Midland will find Jessica Walter. Walter scored the first bucket of the game, but has been quiet since that time. Bob Wellman told us before the game, you can't stop Walter, you can only contain her.
I've heard that before somewhere, talking about other athletes, but yeah, you're right.
3-pointer, count it. Jessica Walter drilling the 3. She's got 5 of Midland High's 8 points. Walter will be playing Big Ten basketball for Indiana come next year. And the Chemic defense, did they force a turnover? They did not. It was last touched by Midland.
And Indiana is having quite a season this year in girls basketball. They've only lost just 1 or 2 games all year. They've been a big surprise in the Big Ten season.
Ellie Taylor and Carly McGee will both check back into the game for the Chargers. 1 minute to play here in the first quarter. Chargers inbound it, can't find anybody open. Walter will steal the ball away, one-on-one with Taylor. Walter with a spin move, but can't get the bucket to fall. Williams with the rebound, has it knocked away. Lyman jumps on it, and we're gonna have a jump ball. Possession arrow in favor of the Chemics.
You know, sometimes I think those jump balls are the roughest play in basketball, don't you think so?
I would agree. Like a fumble in football, everybody's diving for it. Walter, 3-pointer, no good. Taylor getting the rebound for the Chargers. Taylor with the outlet pass over to Lyman. 40 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Lyman working to Query. Query goes inside to O'Neill. Can't get the shot to go. McGee with the rebound. Putback is no good. Ball goes out of bounds. Chargers will keep the basketball. 28 seconds to play in the first quarter. A mostly defensively contested game and wide open underneath Erin O'Neill. She's got size. She's one of the few seniors on the team at 6'1", and O'Neill able to get her first bucket of the game. Midland working across midcourt, trying to beat the press. They go underneath to Resmer. Now they work it back out to Williams. Shot is no good. Williams with a putback. That is too hard. Dow High with the rebound. Nice job again by O'Neill. Chargers have got 5 seconds. They've got time to get a shot off. Taylor will have the ball knocked away by Walter. Half a second to play here in the first quarter. I think Walter can be lucky that she wasn't called for a foul there, but it did stop the momentum of Taylor.
Well, I've never seen someone try to steal the ball over someone's head, but went out of bounds.
Inbound will go to the Midland High Chemics, and that will bring us to an end of the first quarter here at Dow High. Saginaw Valley League basketball on MPS-TV. The Dow High Chargers on top of the Midland High Chemics by a score of 13-8. High school basketball on MPS-TV on Charter Communications. And this game will be cablecast the following dates, the following times: Thursday, January 30th through Saturday, February 1st. Tune in at 7 o'clock each night for a doubleheader of the Chemics and the Chargers. More dates and times will be available in the Midland Daily News Sunday newspaper. Also, check out the Midland Public Schools website. We are on Charter Communications Channel 190, and we are on UVerse for those subscribers on Channel 99. So multiple ways to check out this broadcast of the Chemics and the Chargers, but 7 o'clock at night, all you have to remember for January 30th through February 1st.
Well, it has been entertaining. I don't think you'd call this great basketball, but it's very aggressive. We've got some teams still trying to find their way. Defensively, I think Dow has been playing a little bit tougher than Midland High, but, you know, it's only a 5-point spread here.
I don't think either team has really hit any kind of a groove here in the first half so far.
No,
Dow High
really
with the ball, tried to go to O'Neill underneath. Ball goes out of bounds, so the Chemics will get it. But again, when you take a look, there are only 5 or 6 seniors between both teams.
Yeah, and you're going to get those honest errors as people are trying to get comfortable.
Midland High working the ball around the perimeter. Walter with the ball right now, takes a couple of dribbles, now goes to Williams, back to Walter. Walter dribbles until she finds Tara Gross, another freshman, and the Chemics go underneath. Able to get the bucket in is Gross, who comes in for the first time and scores a bucket, but then Dow High able to capitalize underneath with Jenna Query, the junior, being left wide open. A couple of times the Chemics defense has left that baseline wide open. Chemics beating the press 2-on-1, and the pass to Van Sumeren was behind her. Walter, long three-pointer, no good. Nice rebound by Gross, but she has the putback stolen away, and a jump ball will be called. Very aggressive. Tara and Julia, the Grosses, are both twins on this Midland High team. Tara is the player that is out on the floor right now for the Chemics. Williams working the ball on the baseline, can't get the bucket to go. Rebound by Erin O'Neill, and the Chargers will come back the other direction. O'Neill looking to go coast to coast. Actually, no, that was Lyman. Lyman got the bounce pass, and Lyman able to get the bucket and a chance for a three-point play.
Yeah, I think Midland was expecting her to pull it out and try to run the offense, and she just waited for the defense to part their way, and she went in for the layup.
And the bucket is good for the three-point play, successful. Midland High will bring Sadie DeWilt back into the game, and Van Sumeren will take her first break, and the Chemics beating the press easily, but then they have a bounce pass that is a no-go, and another jump ball on the court.
It just seems like Dow's been just a little quicker to a lot of plays off the floor than Midland High has up to this point.
Lyman working the ball over. Now McGee on the baseline for the Chargers. couple of dribbles, works it back out. Dow High on the perimeter. Tried to go inside, nobody was open. The Chemics trying to come up with a steal but can't do it. Instead, McGee will come away with the ball for the Chargers. Good solid defense by the Midland High Chemics. Ellie Taylor passing it over to Lyman. Lyman being guarded very closely by DeWilt. Lyman able to go back to the top of the perimeter and looks to set up the play for the Chargers. Carly McGee takes a screen set by O'Neal. O'Neal tried to find herself open on the baseline. Now she goes up for the shot. Can't get it to fall through. Chemics, Jaden Williams with the rebound, and a foul is going to be called. Williams was bailed out. She made the young mistake of bringing the ball down and nearly had the ball stolen away.
Well, and O'Neal was kind of frustrated. She had a real high percentage shot inside that just rolled around the rim and fell off. She went in and made the foul. So, yeah, I think it's time for her to sit down for a bit, collect her thoughts, and get back into the game.
Carly D'Alessandro and Kaylee Wasco checking in for the Dow High Chargers. Walter, three-pointer, no good. Rebound by Dow, and maybe a little frustration coming through on the part of the Chemics that they've been limited to one shot, unable to control the boards, and the 15th foul committed by the Chemics.
Well, and part of this is that Dow's playing at home. They feel a little more comfortable here, but they've got a little more size than Midland. And Midland should just gotta go to the offensive glass when the shot goes up.
There's a turnover and a good defensive play by Midland. Williams trying to find Walter, and she does, but Walter too far underneath. Dow High. Is it going to be a jump ball? It's going to be a travel, and a jump ball ends up being called. Elaine Mahabier wanting to know why it wasn't a travel. I think Mahabier's got a pretty good argument. The official wasn't going to listen to much of it, but I thought Mahabier had a good argument. Walter, three-pointer, count it. Jessica Walter with her second three-pointer of the game. Walter's got 8 of Midland High's 13, but Dow High has the 5-point advantage. Chargers working the basketball, couple dribbles by D'Alessandro, and she will get the bucket and the foul. D'Alessandro comes into the game and has a chance for a three-point play. And D'Alessandro is a junior, and did we have a technical? Or a team warning? The official over talking, well, apparently it was not a technical, but there's no such thing as a warning, so I don't know what the official was communicating with the scores table, but nonetheless, D'Alessandro missing the free throw, and now we've got a foul called against Walter underneath the basket.
Well, you know, they talk about the coach's box. That's just a suggestion. They are near the coach's box. They may be in it, and oftentimes they're not. But
either way, there's not a warning in basketball.
I have a feeling that if the coach is going too far out and trying to intimidate or whatever, they want the coach to stay in the box.
Well, I understand that, but I don't know that there's a warning in the rule book. Either you tee them up or you don't tee them up.
I think it's kind of the right thing to do before you tee them up.
Kaylee Wasco, just a freshman, hitting both free throws for the Dow High Chargers. Dow High has led most of this contest. 4.5 minutes to go here in the second quarter. Jessica Walter working with the basketball for Midland High. Walter being guarded by Lyman. Now working the ball over to Tara Gross. Gross takes a couple of dribbles, switches directions, goes back to Walter. Walter drives the baseline. Now Gross is open for the three-pointer. Good shot, but unable to fall through. The ball goes out of bounds. It will be Charger basketball.
Boy, Dow is really fighting through every screen that Midland is setting right now. But Midland just can't seem to get anybody open enough to be comfortable, set their feet and let it go.
Chargers leading by 9. Both of these teams only one loss in the baseline open again. That's something that has worked for the Chargers but did not work that time around. And now Taylor committing a frustration foul. Dow High is in the bonus, but Midland is not, so the Chemics will have the ball out of bounds. Midland High will bring Julia Gross into the game, and Alex Van Sumeren will re-enter.
You know, Dow has 2 6'2" centers, and they don't play them at the same time. It would be interesting to see what would happen if they did.
Driving in, Walter lost the handle on the ball, and a double dribble is going to be called. Rare mistake by Walter, forgetting that she had picked up that dribble. And the Chargers will bring Flaminio back into the game.
Well, and part of that is that she's surrounded by freshmen that don't have that quick reaction to get out on the wing to get the outlet pass, and she just tried to make something else happen.
Dow High trying to use their size, but they throw it away one more time. But the Chemics have been unable to capitalize on any of the Charger turnovers. Julia Gross with a couple of nice dribbles, but Midland High loses it out of bounds. They indicated that it will be Chemic basketball, and it will be. Dow High bringing Carly McGee and Aaron O'Neill back in. The size advantage going to the Chargers, and so far the speed advantage has been in favor of Dow High as well. And how about this? Walter tried to throw it off the back of Dow High's lineman, but as she entered, she was still on the out-of-bounds line, so the turnover by the Chemics.
She was not an inbounds player yet.
Dow High working the basketball, tries to go underneath, looking for O'Neill. Ball was out of bounds, and it's going to be Midland High basketball. Well, not the smoothest contest we have seen, but it's definitely very physical.
Yeah, well, it's entertaining. You know, it's fun to watch these girls play at this high level, but, you know, the offense just isn't smooth yet.
Alyssa Westfall, we haven't talked about her. She drove into the basket for Midland, but Westfall unable to get the bucket to fall through. Dow High now on the other end, and we're going to have a foul called. It'll be a 1-and-1 situation. Looks as if it'll be Jaden Williams called with the foul, her second. It will send Lexi Flaminio, the sophomore, to the free throw line for Dow.
And with Westfall, when she was a junior, I think she saw a lot more playing time. I think she's better this year, but there's a bunch of freshmen there that are competing for playing time.
First free throw is good for Flaminio. Yeah, Westfall, a very solid player. In fact, Midland High, from top to bottom on their roster, very solid team. As they gain more experience, they will only continue to improve. You can say the same thing about the Dow High Chargers.
Oh, both squads have such excellent athletes, but it's just a matter of application here. And this is the Midland Dow game. It's a tough one physically and mentally.
10-point lead for Dow with 2:15 to play here in the second quarter. Walter working the basketball for the Chemics. Being guarded by Lyman. Now she works the ball over to Van Sumeren. Long shot is no good. Rebound. Everybody battling for it. They're going to call a jump ball again. Possession arrow goes to Dow High. Not uncommon to see a lot of jump balls in a high school girls game, but I think we're exceeding the quota here tonight.
We have had a few. It kind of makes the person that has to turn that arrow around a little more important.
Dow High working the ball to D'Alessandro, now over to Lyman. McGee now with it on the perimeter for the Chargers. Dow High has had success working the perimeter and getting the baseline open. Now D'Alessandro will try to split apart the Chemic defense and can't. She has the ball stolen away by Gross. Julia Gross looking to go coast to coast but can't get the bucket. Williams, no, they're going to call a jump ball. Williams tried to go up with the shot, and the Chemics wanted the foul, but instead a jump ball will be called. Chemics will keep possession of the basketball.
It's hard to see from this distance how much contact there was inside. But
it's been a very physical contest. Walter working back out to set up the play for the Midland High Chemics. Walter cannot take a screen. Chargers playing great defense. Had it briefly to DeWilt. Now over to Williams. Williams Can't get the shot, can't get the foul. Midland High holds on to the ball. Walter drives in, now she pulls up. Jump shot is no good. Rebound by the Chemics, put back falls through.
Van Sumeren.
It was Alex Van Sumeren, the freshman, with her first bucket of the quarter. Under a minute to play. Chargers can't get the shot to go, but they keep possession. McGee's shot is off the mark, out of bounds. Dow will keep it. Chargers will bring Ellie Taylor back into the game.
Now that was interesting. Did you see the height that Carly McGee gets on her shot?
It did have a lot of height, no doubt about that. Taylor, who had a career high against Bay City Western recently, back into the game, and the turnover. Midland High coming away with it, loses it. Chemics will keep it. Taylor, the daughter of Bob Taylor, former basketball coach at Northwood, now one of the main components of the Midland Fast Break organization.
We find ourselves under a half a minute.
Williams working back to Walter. Now over to Sadie DeWilt. Long three-pointer, count it. That one was from the volleyball line. Jessica Walter, a long three-pointer. Dow High looking to come back, final seconds, wide open underneath. Jenna Query, the junior, using her size to her advantage. Now Walter from midcourt, can't get the shot to go, and we come to the end of the second quarter with the Dow High Chargers on top 25-18. For the most part, Tom, a very evenly played first half between these two teams. For the Dow High Chargers, their size advantage and the fact that they can get the big girls open on the baseline have been the key to the first half.
It has, and you know, as far as defensively, you're looking at two teams that have such good athletes. It's hard to get a smooth offense when you've got defense that's trying to take everything you're used to doing away from you. And currently right now, Dow High has been able to take advantage of a little bit more, their height advantage certainly. But, you know, I think Midland High really hasn't had their offensive weapons that have really gotten comfortable yet.
It is an exciting and very physical first half. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, it will be time for the second half. These two teams will talk to their coaches and find out what they want to do as a game plan. We've got a lot more basketball still to come here on MPS-TV. At halftime, the Dow High Chargers 25, the Midland High Chemics 18. We're back with the second half right after this. And we welcome you back to Dow High, getting set for the second half of high school basketball. Jason Harper, Tom Bell, and entire crew of MCTV volunteers on hand here on MPS TV to bring you this contest. And Tom, the first half we saw a lot of physicality, we saw a lot of aggression, but we saw the Dow High Chargers control most of that first half.
Yep, and it had to do a lot with their energy. They got a lot of scoring balance. They got a lot of players in the scoring column. Right now, Midland High's got a majority of their points from their leader, Jessica Walter, and they're still waiting on some of their talented freshmen to get comfortable and start knocking down some shots.
And now that we've got 16 minutes of basketball under our belts, you can anticipate that some of those nerves that both teams are experiencing from their young players now turning and shifting a little bit. And now the second half, more of a, hey, this is a basketball game. Let's do what we know how to do.
Yeah, it gives them a chance to catch their breath. Gives their coach a chance to talk to their teammates and try to work on a few things that they couldn't do in a timeout.
Hey, here we go. Second half already underway. Dow High underneath the basket. Aaron O'Neill unable to get the shot to go. Jaden Williams will have the rebound, but then she traveled. I really like the effort that we are seeing from Jaden Williams, but she has been unable to get much going. She's been guarded very closely by the Chargers.
Well, Jaden's a high-intensity player, and she only knows one tempo, and that's as hard as she can play.
Ellie Taylor working the basketball for the Dow High Chargers. Taylor taking a couple of shots, now goes to Lyman. Lyman loses her balance, out of bounds, Midland basketball. Just underway here in the third quarter. Dow High with the lead. Midland High scored the first bucket of the game, but It's been the Chargers in control most of the first half. Walter, the leading scorer, has her dribble stopped. Midland High. Williams on the baseline has it knocked away. Nice defense by Query. And now the Chargers will come back the other direction. Taylor working the ball over to Lyman. Now McGee on the far side finds Taylor open to work it back to Lyman. We saw this in the first half. Nice perimeter passing by the Dow High Chargers. Eventually will open up that baseline. At least that's what happened in the first half.
They continue to look for the lob all the time.
Taylor taking a couple of dribbles. Taylor still keeping that dribble alive. Now McGee decides to shoot the three-pointer. Count it. How about this? Carly McGee. All first half they went baseline, then they decide let's shoot the three, and McGee with the bucket to give the Chargers a 10-point lead.
Well, that was one adjustment that we've noticed so far from the halftime talk.
Van Sumeren answers the call. No, she doesn't. Shot is too hard. Battle for the rebound. Out of bounds. Charger basketball.
Now, Alex Van Sumeren is not just a good shooter. She's an outstanding shooter. And she was injured earlier in the year, and she's made it back into the starting lineup. She just got to get herself settled.
She's one of those players that when she gets red hot, she's hard to stop.
She scores in bunches.
Taylor, nice job taking the screen, and she gets the bucket to fall through. Such great basketball awareness by Ellie Taylor, and she read Midland's defense perfectly.
Well, Ellie was the star of the first quarter for Dow offensively and was held scoreless in the second quarter. So I think Bob Taylor wants to see her get going again.
Biggest lead of the game for the Chargers. Early here in the third quarter, Resmer trying to find something, and she forces up a shot, can't get it to go. Query will get the rebound for the Chargers.
Did I say Bob Taylor? I think her dad wants her to score as much as I think Bob Wellman is who I meant.
Well, they're both rooting for her, no doubt about that. Yeah. Lyman, her shot off the mark. Chemics will come back the other way. DeWilt, outlet pass. Taylor almost had it stolen. Midland High will bring Tara Gross into the game, and Lexi Flaminio will check in for the Chargers. Tara Gross is a player that came in and got some quality playing time in the first half. Elaine Mahabier is going to call a timeout for the Midland High Chemics, using her second 30-second timeout with 5:12 to play. Mahabier talking to the Midland High Chemics, looking for a way to possibly motivate Midland High, because right now they're down by 12, and although we know the Chemics can score, they cannot afford to give up too many more unanswered baskets.
Right, and I think she knows how young her team is. Granted, they do have two very seasoned seniors, but they've got to be able to kind of coax them along and work as a unit.
Midland High inbounds after the timeout. Walter dribbling into the paint. Walter finds the open lane, counts the bucket. That's how the game started. Walter just splitting apart the defense, taking the manners into her own hand. And is this something that Walter needs to do here in the second half?
Oh, I think that Dow played defense long enough for them, but not long enough to stop Walter at that point, and she just drove the lane. But she's going to be very important.
Foul's going to be called against Midland High. That is Jaden Williams, who picks up her third foul. So the freshman in a little bit of foul trouble with a lot of time to play in this game, and wide open. Query can't get the shot, but she does get the putback and the foul, and Query will have a chance for a three-point play.
And I'm afraid that's Williams' fourth foul.
And it is, so Williams will have to head out after picking up her fourth foul, and that's a big loss for the Midland High Chemics. They're going to send Alyssa Westfall into the game to replace Williams.
That really hurts. That's two fouls in about 8 seconds, I think.
And Jenna Query able to get the three-point play for the Dow High Chargers. Dow leading by 13 halfway through the third quarter. Walter, three-pointer, no good. Midland High cannot afford those trips down the court without getting any points to account for.
Yeah, they need to run their offense, but right now Jessica's not feeling a lot of support from her teammates offensively.
Dow High has put together a nice game plan, and the baseline has worked well, and Westfall coming up with a great recovery block to stop Query from getting an easy bucket underneath. Walter works it inside now to Resmer. Resmer goes back out to Van Sumeren and count the three-pointer. Alex Van Sumeren, her first three-pointer of the game. She's got 5 points on the night to put the Chemics within 10, and Bob Wellman wants a timeout.
And that was the first time I thought she looked really comfortable setting up for her shot.
Well, Bob Wellman noticed a lapse in defense, so called the quick timeout for the Dow High Chargers. 10-point game with 3:54 to go here in the third quarter, and a great shot there by our camera crew of Bob Wellman, the athletic director and the veteran coach here at Dow High. And both of these coaches, in fact, all four coaches that we're going to talk about today, they do such a fantastic job as leaders and motivators and teachers.
Yeah, yes, they do. And they spend countless hours with these girls, far beyond what they absolutely have to, and it really shows.
Three-pointer, no good. The shot by Lyman falls short, but she follows her own shot for the rebound, and then Walter coming up with the block underneath. Chargers will keep possession of the basketball. Inbound pass goes to Aaron O'Neill, who has checked back into the game. Now McGee tries to work the baseline, and offensive foul called against McGee. Great job by Westfall, who has came into the game here in the third quarter and has played very well defensively.
And she did fall to the west, too, I might add. No, no, that was definitely the call that needed to be made there.
You know, in our 20 years of doing this, Tom, that may be the worst pun you have came up with yet.
Well, I had to check my north, south, east, west for a moment, and it was west.
Jessica Walter pulls up for the long two-pointer. Shot is no good. Rebound, but a foul is going to be called in the battle for the board that I believe is going to go against Resmer, and it does. Emily Resmer, good rebounder, but that time she pushed one of the Chargers out of the way, or at least that's what the official is claiming.
And so that means it really happened, officially. Okay.
10-point game, 3.5 minutes to go here in the third quarter.
Now, Midland's going to have to amp up their defense. They've got to get some stops, and that's going to help.
Turnover by D'Alessandro, who is a good role player, came in for a few minutes back in the second quarter. Midland High brings Sadie DeWilt into the contest, and Kaylee Wasco, who is just a freshman at 6'2", checks back in for the Dow High Chargers. Roscoe's coming off a double-double against Bay City Central.
That was an unfortunate turnover.
And how about that for a rebound? Wasco grabs the rebound right away from over top of the head of a Chemic player, and Wasco puts it back up. Chargers with the lead. Now Walter breaks apart the defense, can't get the layup to go, and the ball goes out of bounds. Charger basketball, which is not something that the Chemic cheering section, that it happened right in front of the Midland High students, but nonetheless, Dow High basketball.
There were a lot of feet that could have hit, and I think there were 6 feet of Dow and 2 feet of Midland. They gave it to Dow.
Dow High, long shot by Lyman. No good. Beautiful rebound by Wasco. Puts it back up. I believe that is 6 for Kaylee Wasco. The freshman playing well, and the Chargers continue to build their lead here at home.
Well, Wasco had a double-double just recently, so she's not strange to offensive scoring.
Taylor comes up with a steal, then launches the three-pointer. Shot is no good. Rebound by Westfall, and we're going to have a foul called. I believe D'Alessandro is the one that came up with the foul. Actually, they're going to call it on Query, which is her second. 2 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Dow High with the lead. This game being produced by MCTV volunteers. At the end of the quarter, we will let you know how you can become a volunteer with us here at MCTV. Jessica Walter looking to set something up, looking to get something going for a Chemic team that needs a spark. Midland High trying to work in. Julia Gross trying to get something to going, outletted it to Resmer, and the first bucket of the contest for Emily Resmer. D'Alessandro being guarded very closely by Gross. Works it out over now to Lyman, and the Chargers will look to set up a play.
And you can really see the loss of Lily Hammy right now. They've lost that option.
D'Alessandro with a nice drive, couldn't get the bucket to go. Now Midland will come back the other way. Julia Gross, and she'll draw the foul. Two Grosses on this Midland High team, both freshman twins, Julia and Tara. They both see some playing time for the Chemics.
Yep. And they will be a force to reckon with as they go through their freshman year and certainly the years to follow.
A lot of athleticism in the Gross family. Chargers knocked it away, Midland able to recover. Gross works it out to Walter. Walter from the free throw line, can't get the friendly roll. Williams in there for the rebound in the bucket. Williams, who is playing with 4 fouls, and then the Chargers turn it over, trying to inbound the ball.
A little spark here at the end of the third quarter might give the Chemics a little life.
And Bob Wellman is going to call a timeout with 47 seconds to play in the third quarter, and this may be something that the Chemics can capitalize on. They've got it at a 10-point disadvantage right now, but if the Chargers can, get the single-digit deficit at the end of the quarter, that gives them a lot more of momentum going into the fourth quarter.
And this was a really well-timed timeout for Bob Wellman. I think his girls were starting to let up. They looked at the score. They saw them comfortably ahead by 14 points as they're approaching the end of the third quarter. And all of a sudden, the 14 becomes 10. And who knows what's going to happen in the next 47 seconds. But Bob wants to stop the bleeding.
Here you take a look at the Dow High Chargers huddled around their coach. Dow High will have 2 timeouts remaining. Midland has got 3, but we've got a lot of basketball left to be played here at Dow High. Midland High will be inbounding underneath their own basket. Final minute of play here in the third quarter. Chemics trying to find somebody. Finally they find Walter, who's open for a three-pointer. Shot is a little bit too hard. Rebound, and we're going to have a jump ball called. Julia Gross with a nice rebound. Emily Lyman tying it up nicely. Only about 5 seconds going off the clock. So the Chemics will inbound again. Same play, they go to Walter, who tries to go inside, and Dow High will get the ball. Resmer unable to handle the pass from Walters.
Pass was a tad high, but it was pretty well placed.
Walter and the Chemics trying to pick up their defense a little bit. Pulling it out a little bit on the perimeter, trying to make it harder for the Chargers to set something up. But they go inside to Query. Can't get the shot to go. Gross will get the rebound. Gross down court, and a foul will be called. Julia Gross does a nice job of forcing the other team to commit the foul.
Well, she's got a real good crossover down there. And there are some girls, when they're fairly young, they just go with their dominant hand. But good crossover, got her in the middle of the court.
Nice pass by Walters, finally finding Resmer wide open, and the Chemics pull within 8 final seconds here of the third quarter. Chargers have got to force the shot up, and they do in time. It would have counted if it went, but the basket by Wasco is no good, and the third quarter coming to a conclusion. We have got 8 minutes of high school basketball left to be played, and it is a 8-point game So you got to think that the momentum may be swinging a little bit towards Midland.
Yeah, and right now you can hear the pep band. They just arrived. But yeah, this is probably an unfortunate time for the third quarter to end for Midland High.
And the pep band made their presence known in a hurry. This game being produced by MCTV volunteers. And if you would like to become a volunteer, all you have to do is come to the next orientation, which will take place on Saturday, February 8th, or on Saturday, March the 8th. The orientations will be at 10 o'clock in the morning in the MCTV studio located in the basement of the Grace A. Dow Library, the newly renovated MCTV studio. The cost is just $45 for the orientation, which also includes the first year access user fee. For more information, call 837-3474. Check out the website on your screen or check us out on Facebook. Get in touch with us here on MCTV. Become a volunteer. Join us for sporting events or studio shows or make your own show. A lot of options. Underneath, and a travel call is going to go against Jenna Query.
Well, got a long way to go, a lot of basketball. Dow's got to try to protect their lead, and Midland's got to get some help scoring-wise, somebody other than Jessica Walter.
Well, the Chemics are going to make their move. Now is the time to do it. Van Sumeren working the ball over to Williams. Now back to Van Sumeren. At the top of the key, they work it to Julia Gross, who has played well here in the second half. Gross switching directions, takes the screen, but then Wasco will block her shot underneath.
Probably not the shot that Elaine Mahabier would want her to make, but as far as being aggressive, I like that.
Nice pass by Walter, and the bucket falls through for Resmer. It's a combination that has worked well. Resmer's got 6 points, and we have got ourselves a 6-point game. Layup doesn't go for the Chargers, but they get the rebound. Query works it out, and now Dow High will set something up. McGee goes hard inside to Wasco. Now back to McGee. McGee loses her dribble, stolen away by Midland. Julia Gross coming up with the steal. Chemics across midcourt. Walter to a wide open Julia Gross. Shot is no good. Out of bounds. It will stay Midland basketball. Bunch of players checking into the game. Lexi Flaminio will check in along with Aaron O'Neill for Dow High, and Julia's sister Tara will step into the game for the Midland High Chemics. Julia takes a break. Tara comes into the game. Early here in the fourth quarter. Chemics working the ball. Three-pointer by Van Sumeren. Shot is no good. Rebound pulled down by O'Neill. Chargers in transition will now stop and look to set up the play. Lyman taking a couple of dribbles. Now to Flaminio. Flaminio, nice job getting by Walters, but then the Chargers throw the ball right into the hands of Tara Gross. And a reach-in foul is going to be called against Lyman. That will be the 5th team foul going against the Chargers, and the 3rd one against Lyman, so she will have to head to the bench as Ellie Taylor checks back into the game, and also Kaylee Wasco will come back in for Dow.
And with Lyman on the bench, that's some senior leadership that Bob Wellman, I guess she's just a junior, but that's some upperclassman leadership Bob Wellman doesn't want to lose.
Walter inside to Resmer. Now they work it back out over to Van Sumeren. Working to Tara Gross. Gross taking the screen by Walter nicely. Now Jaden Williams is wide open. Only a 2-pointer. Williams with her foot on the line, but Jaden Williams hitting the 2-pointer. She's got 7 on the night, and the Midland High Chemics creeping back into this contest. Chargers aren't able to hold the ball. Williams coming up with the steal. Williams pulls up. Nice move by Williams, but she's going to be called for the travel.
Well, the Chemics have certainly amped their game up here. They're exciting.
The Chargers at one time had a 14-point lead. It is now a 4-point lead for Dow. Just over 5 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter.
I think it's a 10-0 run.
McGee with a long two-pointer, no good. Taylor doing a nice job getting the rebound. Long three-pointer by Taylor is no good. Williams will get the board for the Chemics. Williams working it ahead to Tara Gross. Williams to Walter. Walter into the paint, now goes back out to Williams. Chemics will set up their play. Walter, three-pointer, in and out. Rebound by the Chargers. Good shot, just did not get it to fall through.
Just a little long, a little long.
Inside to O'Neal. Can't get the shot to go. Williams with the rebound. Williams playing in foul trouble, but she's still her aggressive self that just brings that extra quality to the basketball floor.
She's just got to be real careful when she's really bodying up to somebody defensively.
Long three-pointer, no good. Rebound by Gross. That shot is no good. Taylor will come away with it for the Chargers. That may have been ill-advised by Walter, and Dow High will now look to take advantage of it. They work inside. Now they go back out. Taylor over to Flaminio. Flaminio breaking apart the defense, but it goes out of bounds. They're going to say it was off of the Chemics, so the Chargers will keep the basketball.
I don't know who hit that for the Chemics. I thought Flaminio hit it with her knee.
I thought so too, and the officials are discussing it, but they're going to keep it as Dow High basketball. No, they did change it. That's a great job of officiating. The two officials got together and they changed the call to give it Midland basketball, which was the correct call. So a great job by the officials. Westfall unable to handle the pass, though, slightly behind her. Walter now working the basketball for the Chemics. Midland High will set things up. 3.5 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter.
We now have the game we thought we were going to have all night long.
And Elaine Mahabier will call a timeout for the Midland High Chemics. You're right, this is turning into the contest that we expected. Both of these teams coming in with only one loss on the season. It is a 4-point advantage for the Dow High Chargers as you take a look at Elaine Mahabier and the Midland High Chemics. And remember, this is a Midland High team that is playing without Lily Homme, who was incredibly disappointed that she could not get medically cleared for the Midland Dow game. She suffered a leg injury over Christmas break, and Lily Homme is a player that brings leadership and a great second scorer, and you can see her in the white skirt in the Midland High huddle. And this is a Midland High team that without Homme, somebody has to step up, and we've seen the Gross sisters and Jaden Williams do that tonight.
We have, and for Homme, it gives Midland High's offense another dimension that she's an inside player. She can come out to the arc and hit the three over and over and over again. It gives Jessica a little more space at the point guard and just makes the whole team a whole lot better. But they're starting to perk now. They're starting to play a lot better now.
And Homme will be back for Midland High shortly, probably before the second Midland Dow meeting in mid-February. Three-pointer, Jessica Walter will pull the Chemics within one. She's got incredible range. Walter's got 16 points on the night, and it is a 1-point game with 3 minutes to play, and a double dribble called against the Chargers.
Yep. And as the game gets more aggressive, it has really sped up for Dow. And Bob's got to be concerned. His team's not answering the bell here with the higher energy.
3/4 of this game, it was all Chargers, but now it is swinging in Midland High's favor. 2:50 on the clock. Walter pulls up for another three, count it! For the first time since the opening basket, the Chemics have the lead. Walter with back-to-back three-pointers, the Chemics leading by 2.
It's 15-0.
That is an amazing run that Midland High has put together here in the fourth quarter. D'Alessandro can't get the shot to go. Too hard, rebound, everybody fighting for it, out of bounds, Chemic basketball.
It was 37-23 at one time.
and an amazing turn of events. And we've got ourselves a great ball game with 2:15 to go on the clock.
Now can Dow turn it up again?
Van Sumeren working the ball. Walters wide open. Misses the three-pointer. Rebound by the Chemics, but they can't hold on to it. Dow High, Aaron O'Neill will outlet it. Chargers looking to set something up, looking to stop their scoring drought, maybe go back to trying to work that baseline that worked well in the first half. Taylor open for a three-pointer. Shot is no good. Battle for the rebound. D'Alessandro comes away with it. Query with a jump shot, no good. Battle for the rebound, and a jump ball is going to be called. Possession arrow in favor of Midland.
We have had a lot of jump balls, haven't we?
And Elaine Mahabier is going to call a timeout with 1:37 to play in the fourth quarter. Midland High leading by 2. And this is the time where the coaches earn their money. And I'll put you on the spot, Coach. What are, if you're Elaine Mahabier, what are you saying in this huddle?
Keep going at them, okay? Everybody but Jaden. Jaden Williams, they got to protect her. She can't try to guard somebody one-on-one with that player going to the basket. But keep going at them. They've got the energy that she was looking for all night. For Bob Wellman, he's got to try to find the key to reestablishing some offense, because the offense has absolutely gone away right now.
Let's reset things. 1:37 to play here in the fourth quarter. Midland High leading by 2. The possession arrow is in favor of the Dow High Chargers as soon as the ball is inbounded. The Chemics have 1 timeout. The Chargers have 2. There you see all the information for you on the scoreboard. And here we go. Chemics getting set to inbound the ball. Inbounded to Walter. Chargers have put a press back on the Chemics. Walter able to break it and get across midcourt. Walter one-on-one with Lyman. Now she'll pull back, switches directions. Walter, was she fouled? She was.
And I think they're going to give her 2.
Walter was losing the handle on the ball. They're going to call that it was a shot. That might be a lucky break for the Chemics, but it will send Jessica Walter to the free throw line.
It was like a layup, only about 8 or 9 feet away from the basket.
That is the 4th foul, by the way, on Emily Lyman. So the Chargers now in a little bit of foul trouble as well. That is also the 6th team foul. So the Chemics will now be shooting 1-1. And that basket there by Walter was her 20th of the night. Walter becoming the first girls basketball player in Midland High history to score over 1,000 career points. She did it earlier this season against Bay City Central. She's got 21 tonight. Midland's got the lead with just over a minute to play. Lyman working the baseline, can't get the shot to go. Williams with a great rebound. Jaden Williams stealing the ball away. And a foul will be called by the Chargers, who now have to go into a control the clock situation and send Midland to the free throw line in hopes of getting back into this contest.
Midland has scored the last 18 points of this ball game and are now holding a 4-point lead.
Walter gets the first free throw to fall. Have the Chargers scored in the fourth quarter?
No.
Amazing. And Walter hitting both of her free throws. The Chemics with their biggest lead, 43-37, 1 minute to play in this Saginaw Valley contest. Taylor working the ball for the Chargers, now to McGee. McGee being double teamed and a foul will be called. That's not bad news because the Chemics still have 2 fouls to give to try to disrupt this Dow High offense. An offense that's been disrupted most of the second half. Inbound pass, and the Chargers finally scoring with Aaron O'Neill getting the bucket to fall through. Bob Wellman will call the timeout for the Chargers.
A 20-2 route or span there, but Wow, this has been quite the change in the second half. And there really wasn't a change in strategy. It was just energy.
Each team will have one timeout. It is a 4-point game with 50 seconds to play. Now, if you take a look at the great job by our outstanding camera crew here, all volunteers working the cameras for us here on this broadcast. MCTV volunteers doing a fantastical job to bring you high school basketball.
You know, this is one of the fears when you're playing in such an emotional game and you've got two quality teams that have only lost one game each, and one team gets out ahead pretty easily. And then all of a sudden they start to think that the game's easier than it really is, and they let up, and the other team catches fire, and you just can't get your team rolling again. It is a very helpless feeling from the sideline.
And don't forget, there's a lot of young players, a lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores out on the basketball court. The Chemics looking to inbound it. Knocked back out of bounds by Query.
We're seeing a full court press, all 5 players down here by the Dow basket.
Chemics looking to inbound. They go long. They go to Van Sumeren, and Van Sumeren will be fouled as she tries to go to the line. Midland High beating the press, and Alex Van Sumeren will go to the free throw line.
And Alex is an outstanding free throw shooter. But let's see what the pressure does to her.
And that is going to be the 5th foul on Emily Lyman. The junior who played so well in the first half has fouled out for the Chargers. Lyman ending the game. Only 3 points, but in that guard position, she did a great job leading things for the Chargers. She is now out of the game due to fouls, and Van Sumeren on the free throw line connects with the first one. Midland High leading by 5.
The Van Sumeren name may sound familiar because her dad played here at Dow High a few years ago.
Second shot is no good. Rebound pulled down by Williams for Midland. 40 seconds to go. 5-point Chemic lead. An amazing comeback by Midland, and Walter will go back to the line.
And Walter isn't someone you really want to foul.
May have, but again, this is where that inexperience of the Chargers come into play. Walter was getting ready to hand the ball off, and then he fouled Walter at that moment instead of waiting for somebody else, so you don't have to send the future Hoosier to the free throw line.
You do have a point there, yes.
Walter connecting with the first free throw. Second shot is good as well. Chemics with their biggest lead. Just 35 seconds to play in the contest. Dow High trying to go towards the baseline. Flaminio lost her balance. Now they give it to Query, who was open. Can't get the shot to go. Wasco's shot, that is no good. Battle for the rebound. Dow High will get it. Taylor, three-pointer. Bounces around, no good. Ball is loose. Walter comes away with it. Walter drives the baseline, and she will go to the free throw line. And that time may be the exclamation mark on what may be the comeback of the season for the Midland High Chemics.
Definitely, and I think it was all part of the moment. I think if Jessica were to have a moment to think, she would have pulled it back and allowed more time to expire. But, you know, it's just more nails in the coffin here as far as the situation is concerned. And I believe she's got 26 points right now.
Now, Jessica Walter did what she had to do with a Chemic team that was struggling to find rhythm. Walter said, I'm a team leader, let me put things on my back, and it worked well, sparking a great Chemic comeback, and Walter nearly had another steal. This has got to go down as a extremely disappointing loss for the Chargers. 4 seconds away. You controlled most of the game, but it all fell apart in a hurry in the fourth quarter, and it's going to fall apart as the final horn sounds, giving the Midland High Chemics a big-time win. The celebration is on for the Midland High Chemics, who come away with a 9-point win. At one time, early in the fourth quarter, the Chemics were down by 14 points. They come back to win by 9. They finished the game on a 25-2 run. All you can say is that is downright good basketball by the Midland High Chemics.
It really is, and I know that Bob Wellman is really unhappy with the way things ended. Elaine is ecstatic.
And she has every right to be.
She does. But but Bob Wellman will use this as a teaching tool because his girls came into this 12-1 and really have had games go their way all year long. And this game just went south all at one time.
Absolutely. A very disappointing loss because the Dow High Chargers played great basketball for the majority of the game. But in that second half, they started to fall apart. They only scored 2 points in the entire fourth quarter. You know, and Midland High scoring 23 unanswered points, 25 points on that run, and Midland High pulling away to win by 9. This is a win for the Chemics that they can build on.
Oh, definitely, and it shows that when their players got comfortable, certainly they missed Lily Hami, but they learned how to win without her, and I think that's a real powerful statement.
Jaden Williams played very well defensively. The Gross sisters came in and played well. Alyssa Westfall came in the third quarter and played great basketball. The Midland High Chemics putting it together. They come from behind to defeat the Dow High Chargers, and that is going to wrap up our girls broadcast. Don't go anywhere. Game number 2 yet to come on this doubleheader. It is time for the boys to take the court. We'll take a break, take a breather, get ready for more Saginaw Valley League basketball. The final score on the girls' side of things, the Midland High Chemics 48, the Dow High Chargers 39. Thank you for tuning in to this broadcast on MPS-TV. We'll be back with the boys right after this.